The story of Vidyut, the electric car. Once upon a time, not so long ago, there was a beautiful, electrifying electric car called Vidyut. Now, Vidyut was no ordinary vehicle. It had a mind of its own, and it had a thirst for adventure. You might have heard of the words artificial intelligence. Well, Vidyut was a naturally intelligent and a very smart and capable car. Let us listen what happened to this super smart and very intelligent and adventure-seeking car. One fine morning, Vidyut decided it was time to set off on a journey. Vidyut wanted to leave the dull and gloomy weather in Bengaluru, which this beautiful city sometimes experiences during monsoons. Vidyut wanted to explore different parts of beautiful India. You know what Vidyut did? Owner of that car had left the car for charging. Vidyut seized the opportunity and decided to go for a long drive. And this is how Vidyut set off on its first adventure. Vidyut left the parking lot, went to the city streets and began to crisscross and zigzag the streets of Bengaluru. And soon it had reached the outskirts of the city and was on its way to Mumbai. Along the way, Vidyut began to wonder, what would happen if my battery dies out? But the very question also brought a smile to his face. Well, you see, there are quite a few charging stations along the way. All Vidyut had to do was to get off the highway, stop by at one of these charging stations, rest for a while, and once the batteries were charged again, keep cruising. It all sounded so easy, didn't it? Fortunately for him, things went just the way he had thought about. And soon, Vidyut was in Mumbai. He whizzed past iconic landmarks like the Gateway of India and Marine Drive, and also one of the many new bridges that the city had seen in recent years. Vidyut felt a feeling of freedom and excitement as he began to cruise along the coastal highway. Very soon, Vidyut had left the city of Mumbai and headed towards the beautiful Sahyadri Mountains. Leaving behind the chaotic city life, he ventured into the serene landscapes, heading towards Pune. Vidyut wanted to visit this iconic city because once Pune was the home to the automobile industry in India. It was almost as if a car was on a journey to place of pilgrimage. From Pune, he kept traveling north, went to Nasik, crossed the Saputaras, on to Madhya Pradesh, went through the majestic forests and then the Vindhyas, crossed a few rivers, reached the outskirts of New Delhi, and very soon he was in Uttar Pradesh. From there he went up to Uttarakhand and went all the way up to the majestic Himalaya mountains. People had told him along the way, it's raining, the region is flooded, you may see a lot of landslides and boulders that will collapse on the road. But Vidyut wanted to say hello to the mighty and majestic Himalayas. The winding roads led to picturesque hill stations like Manali and Shimla. With each turning road, Vidyut enjoyed the breathtaking views, the green valleys, the clear blue skies, and also made some friends along the way. Some of them were very naughty monkeys, by the way. These monkeys had decided to jump on top of Vidyut and they literally went for a ride. Just in time as the clouds began to gather up on the horizon, Vidyut decided to head west towards Punjab. From the majestic mountains, he was into lush green farmlands. From there, Vidyut reached Rajasthan. Along the way, someone had told him, "You must visit Jaisalmer and the beautiful sand dunes there." And that's exactly what he did. Vidyut was excited. He reached Jaipur and he admired the beautiful Hawa Mahal and travelled through the bustling bazaars where he saw colourful clothes and handicrafts. From there he travelled south up to Udaipur and saw the beautiful lakes and the palaces. It was time to travel to east part of India. And that's how he continued along his journey, which meant travelling for a short while through Madhya Pradesh one more time. Previously he had travelled from south to north. This time he travelled from west to east. And very soon he was in the gigantic state of Uttar Pradesh. Along the way, he decided, since he was travelling so close to the holy river Ganga, it was time to pay a visit to the town of Varanasi. He witnessed the beautiful spiritual aarti of the river Ganga along the banks of this river. He spent an evening in the serene and tranquil city. Very next morning, Vidyut felt very calm and he had almost found inner peace and an encouragement to continue along his journey. Vidyut kept travelling east through the historic Bihar. He continued further east into West Bengal and very soon he had crossed that narrow corridor, what they call as the chicken's neck, and reached northeastern India. From the mighty Ganga, he was now cruising along parallel to the Brahmaputra river. He crisscrossed the beautiful valleys, the Kaziranga National Park and the hills. It was almost the month of November. It had almost been a month since Vidyut was on his nationwide road trip. Vidyut decided to travel back from West Bengal and along the eastern coast of India. From the beautiful town of Puri, he came further down to Andhra Pradesh. And from there, he went all the way through Tamil Nadu to Rameshwaram. From there, he turned back, this time cruising along the western coast of India, the state of Kerala. He travelled up the coast from Bengaluru all the way to Udupi and even went to Goa. He had travelled almost all parts of our country. From Goa, Vidyut crossed back into Karnataka, his home state, from the town of Belgavi and travelled straight down to Bengaluru. It was late night when he entered the parking lot and his spot was lying vacant, waiting for its rightful occupant. Vidyut had reached home. As the night changed into daytime, his owner, person who admired, loved and cherished the car so much, was delighted to see his favorite vehicle back in its very spot. Vidyut had a heavy heart to return home, but at the same time, he was also excited that he got to live a life of adventure, visit places normally he would not have, park in its cozy charging station. Vidyut felt very grateful. And so, my dear friends, the next time you see an electric car whizzing past, it just might be Vidyut or someone who was inspired by the adventures of Vidyut the electric car.